Every time I get a new electric bike, I always say, this bike is my favorite. But recently, a company has sent me an e-bike that has blown them all out of the water, and not even because of its specs, technology, or speed. This is the Jasion EB7 500 watt electric bike, and before we really start looking at it, let's take a look at the build process.
Okay, so we got a new e-bike. Don't laugh. This is a professional video. So we got a new e-bike from Jason, and the last time I assembled one of these, the entire bike was taken apart and it was a pain in the ass. So I'm hoping what they did was just fold it in half, but with how thin this box is, I don't think they did. So I'm probably gonna have to build this whole thing again. So yeah, it looks like the tire is off on this one too. Ooh, those are 3-inch fat tires.
Now it takes time to cut away all the styrofoam and the zip ties, so I'm just gonna cut forward a bit.
So right off the bat, I noticed the stem is already in place, which is awesome because that was really annoying to attach last time. I noticed the tires here are not 4-inch, which is generally the standard on these bikes. So this is, it looks like 3 or 2.5. So that's kind of neat. It doesn't have a suspension seat post, but it has rear suspension here and front suspension here. So you may not even need a suspension seat post. And this thing feels pretty nice. So it looks like it's not gonna be as in depth as the last one. They're still gonna make me put on the front wheel, which is a pain.
I decided to start with the easy stuff, so I assembled the pedals, which was just as simple as screwing them in and tightening them down. Then the seat was next, and that was a piece of cake. After that, I moved on to the handlebar system.
Ooh! This is gonna be a pain in the ass to unhook. Damn, yeah? Wow, that is stuck in there once you got it. Holy crap.
Next, I moved on to the handlebars. Now I was gonna cut the audio out of this part because it's really dumb, but I started to have some fun, so enjoy.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Just like I like my women. That was wrong. I'm just messing around, girls. I want you to respect yourself. Ugh. My cameraman and my buddy over here, they're like, wow, Barry, what the hell? You're like those guys on Tumblr that I'm supposed to be afraid of. My daddy warned me about you. Sorry, I gotta make this go a little faster, so I'm trying to entertain myself a little bit. Now last time, I messed up a little bit. Yeah, and I think I messed up this time too. These are a little off, so I'll have to loosen that and bring it up a little bit. So one thing I noticed while I was putting this on is this is loose, and they don't actually give you the proper Allen key to tighten this down. And it actually, I'm hoping it's not a hex nut. That'd be very annoying. Nope. Okay, we're good.
Then came the biggest challenge, the front wheel. I recommend having a friend around to hold the bike up while you assemble this part. You can do it yourself if you prop it up, but it's just easier to have someone there to lend a hand.
Oh, that's so easy. That's so easy.
I remember remarking a lot about how stupid-proof the building process was. I seldom made any mistakes, and I only consulted the manual once during the entire process. This may be due to the fact that I've built 5 of these things now, but this bike was extremely simple to build. For the front light, all I had to do was plug it in and screw it into place. With that, we were almost done. The last thing was the rear light, and this is where I got stuck and had to use the manual.
So I was looking over this tail light because all they give you is a micro USB cable, and it has a micro plug-in right here, but there's no USB on the bike. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, so they gave you a wireless, cordless rear tail light, and you just hook it up, and then when you need to charge it, you have this. So it's interesting to me that they put a headlight on this, and you plug it in, but they don't put a tail light on it, they just send you a wireless tail light. Which I mean, that's not really that helpful because if I'm gonna press on the brakes, this thing's not gonna know that I pressed on the brakes. So it's not gonna light up when you hit the brakes. All this is a light so that people can actually see you from behind, and you gotta go just turn it on at night. I don't like that as much, but it doesn't look dinky. I'm gonna charge this, plug it in, and see what it's like.
All that said and done, the bike was now complete. So let's talk about this thing and why I like it so much. This bike has a 500 watt motor with a 10 amp hour battery, which is about on spec with the Electric 2.0. This bike can reach speeds of around 25 to 27 miles an hour depending on how hard you push it. It comes with the standard 5 pedal assist modes, with 1 reaching 10 to 12 miles an hour, 2 reaching 15, 3 gets you to around 18, 4 is about 20, and then 5 will let you ride all the way up to 27 miles an hour. I noticed instantly how quiet this motor is. It's the most silent electric bike that I've ridden so far. One thing I really liked about it was the throttle. It's not tethered to the pedal assist mode. So if you're in pedal assist 1 and you want a little extra power, all you have to do is pull the throttle and you can get all the way up to top speed if you really wanted to. A few other bikes will make you adjust the pedal assist mode to change the speed, and after spending some time with both configurations, I prefer this type way more. This moves us into the stuff that I haven't seen yet on other bikes at a higher price point. I want to be clear, this bike is $950, which is cheaper than even the Electric 2.0. For that price, you're getting a full color LCD display, which I haven't seen on any of the other bikes that I've received. Not even the Ratten or the Engway, and those were $1,300 bikes. Another big win for this bike is the dual suspension. They have the front suspension that you normally see on these electric bikes, and it's adjustable of course, but they also have rear suspension built into the frame. This is also adjustable. I've never seen this on a bike of this price, and I was so happy to see it implemented here. One of my friends got on this bike and told me that it was the smoothest ride of all the bikes I have. The last thing that gives this bike a leg up is the fact that you can turn the front light on and use the horn while the battery is off. This means that if you wanted to ride the bike without power and it gets late, people will still be able to see you at night, and this is one complaint that I've had with all of the other bikes that I've gotten. You had to turn on the bike to use those features. The horn on this thing isn't a dinky little bell either. Check this out. Now of course this bike is foldable and it has the smallest frame of all of my bikes. This bike weighs 59 pounds, which is 7 pounds lighter than the Electric 2.0, and makes it very easy to fold up and pack away. It also makes the ride a lot smoother. I can easily ride this bike without power. I thought the other bikes that I had were light, but this thing blows them out of the water. The light frame does a lot for this bike. I actually didn't expect this, but my friends and I went riding the other day. My buddy Nick was on the Electric 2.0, Benji was using the Ratten LM750, and I was riding the Jasion. What I noticed was while my friends were in pedal assist 2, I stayed in pedal assist 1, and not once did I need to adjust my speed to keep up. Most of the time I was in front, which had me really surprised. I let Nick ride this bike and he told me instantly, "Barry, I see why you like this so much. It's so smooth, so quiet, and I'm keeping up with you guys in a lower pedal assist mode." But enough of the gushing, let's finish off the spec list. This bike comes with 3-inch wide fat tires, which I personally prefer. You have a lot more maneuverability with the thinner tires, and they provide more than enough cushion as you ride on rough terrain. Of course, you have your standard Shimano gear shift, mechanical disc brakes, which work very well, and the last thing that I really like about this bike was how easy it was to build. It was all so straightforward, and like I said before, I only consulted the manual one time, and that was to figure out what the rear taillight situation was all about. I looked at the manual and realized it was rechargeable, and that was it. Now, all this is not to say that the bike is perfect, and there are 2 things that I dislike about this bike. The first thing is pretty common with all of these electric bikes, but the seat on this thing is awful and needs to be replaced. It's hard and has a weird shape to it that became very uncomfortable as I rode. It was enough that I grabbed my Cloud9 gel seat and replaced it right after the first time I rode, so definitely consider getting a new seat. The second con is the paint job. It looks pretty bland and makes me want to customize it. Not only that, but the matte black they use is a fingerprint magnet, and I wish they had some other color options. The Jasion logo looks like a sticker, which had me excited. I was going to rip it off and paint the bike, but then I realized it's not a sticker, it's another layer of paint. Just for the logo. So if I did want to paint it, I'd have to strip the paint that's already on there and start fresh. Beyond that though, this is my favorite bike and likely the one that I'll be using in the foreseeable future. I know I'm gonna beat this like a dead horse, but there is so much I like about this bike. It's zippy and fun. The light frame makes it easy to keep up with other bikes that are so heavy that they're in higher pedal assist modes. The dual suspension is great. If I got myself a suspension seat post, this would have 3-point suspension, which is desirable. The fact that the motor is so smooth and quiet to the point that it's noticeable is insane. I know this bike doesn't have the biggest battery, and it also doesn't have the largest motor. Normally I prefer 750 watt motors and 13 plus amp hour batteries, but this thing in pedal assist 1 goes 12 miles an hour. And at pedal assist 1, I'm outrunning my friends on superior bikes, and due to being in the lowest pedal assist mode, I'm keeping my charge longer than they can, and that is desirable. Now the greatest part? This bike is $950. It's cheaper than these other superior bikes. Again, on paper, this bike has lower specs than all the other bikes in my garage, but this one is my preferred driver, and I want to thank Jasion for giving me the opportunity to play around with this thing. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do. If you're interested in this bike, or at the very least you want to take a look at it, I'll have a link in the description. I also have a $50 coupon code, so you'd actually get all of this for $900. If I sound passionate, it's because I legitimately fell in love with this bike. I can't stop riding it. Jasion did a wonderful job. It's kind of crazy to me how many times I offer my friends to ride one of these electric bikes and they get all hesitant. They say, well, I don't want to break it, I don't know if I can ride it, and it always confuses me. I had one of my friends tell me that she'd never ridden a bike before. She asked, what's the hardest part of riding a bike? I looked back and said, the pavement. Bye guys.